I work in finance and I use AI on a daily basis. AI is really good for some things, but when it comes to financial stuff, especially on the tax side of things, you've got to be really, really, really careful. Lots of clients have come to me with AI outputs saying, oh, this is what we should do. I've had a look at it and it's completely the wrong answer. So what we're going to cover in today's video is where you've got to be careful using AI in finance. My name's Kevin Steele, fractional CFO, chartered accountant, over 18 years experience, and I also develop my own finance apps. So AI will always hand you an answer if you ask a question. Most of the time that's okay if it's a general question, but when it comes to specialized fields like finance, law, etc., you might get a confident answer sounding back that's maybe 80-85% correct. But like I said, when it comes to real specialized areas like finance and law, where there's a lot of compliance around it, you need to make sure that it's 100% correct, not 85%, not even 90% correct. That last 10%, that could be the difference in finance, for example, between you getting a huge tax bill for the wrong information or not. So really, really, really important that if you are using AI in finance, that you still go back to a professional advisor to make sure you get the right answer that is 100% correct. Simply doing that could save you a lot of money. So one area that you've really got to be careful about using AI is tax advice. I had a great experience of this. Probably last week, I would say. I was asking AI a question in terms of tax advice, and I already knew the answer. I was kind of just testing it. So I typed in the situation, used some hypothetical client names, etc., and AI came back with a really, really solid sounding answer. But the problem was that AI was using tax legislation from last year. And just a couple of months ago, there had been an update in the tax legislation, which made a big change to what the answer should have been. And as a result, if I was just a random person, I asked the question, it would have been correct for last year, not correct for this year. If I would have relied on that advice, it would have cost me a lot of money. So trust, but always verify when it comes to AI, especially on the tax front. So remember, the data that you put into tools like Claude and ChatGPT is data that you are giving to train a large language model, otherwise known as an LLM, like Claude and ChatGPT. At the bare minimum, always make sure to anonymize any client names, information, customer data, etc. But even then, you don't really want to be doing that. What you want to be doing is one of two things. Number one, get on one of the pro versions for Claude, ChatGPT, etc. In the settings, you can tick a little radio button, which will say, do not use this model to train my data. But even that, you might want to go one step further and sign up to a Teams or an enterprise account. That offers the highest grade possible security and data information privacy. They're expensive, but if you are using AI on a big scale for a lot of your clients, for example, you really, really, really should be looking at one of those teams or one of those enterprise plans. Data security and privacy is really, really, really important. So make sure you and your clients are covered. So the most dangerous kind of output is the AI output that looks great, but there's no obvious error checking in place to ensure that it actually balances and is 100% correct. Let me give you an example. So I've been building my own finance FP&A app over the last 4 or 5 months. This has been kind of quite an iterative process, ongoing. And one thing I realized very, very, very early on is that you need to build in different tests, different guards, different barriers. Things like a balance check. Does the balance sheet actually balance? Things like a cash flow plug. Does everything in the cash flow statement actually flow through and there's no drifting cash? AI can give you very confident looking projections, very confident looking answers, very confident looking investment analysis, but always make sure to double, triple check everything. The amount of times when I was building my app, things looked great until I actually looked at those tests in the background and it was like, oh, that doesn't actually balance. If I had used this on a real client without building these tests in the background, I would have given them wrong information. So always, always, always make sure you are building in some guards into whatever AI models, etc., that you are going to be giving to clients. They're relying on your advice, and you need to be sure that the information you're giving them from that AI is accurate. And again, that links back to that last 10% we spoke about earlier. AI will get you 85, 90% of the way there, but your job is that last 10%. That's where you make your money, by keeping your client happy and giving them the information they need to make decisions about their business correctly. So I don't know about you guys, but I've seen so many posts with hundreds and thousands of likes on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, etc., swearing that all you need is AI and it's going to replace your CFO. In this next video, I'm actually going to screenshot one of those posts, cover every single point, and tell you what's nonsense and what is actually legitimate. You want to watch it? Click here.